Well, would you take a look at that? It's you. It's you, my favorite fucking person in the entire world. Once again, I'm really trying not to swear all the time, but it's just something that I'm going to have to do because I like it. Fuck. I love that word. Did you guys like last week's episode with Miss Josie Toda, my best friend and confidant and other half and sister, daughter, mom, aunt? Since the strike is now over, yay SAG-AFTRA. Why did I just do that? Jesus. The strike is over, which means people can promote their shit, and friends who are part of SAG can promote their friends' work and support actors, creators, writers, directors, people who are doing all the work behind the scenes, pre-production, post-production. But if you guys can do me a favor and go watch The Buccaneers on Apple TV. Josie's in it, Alicia's in it, Emmy's in it, friends of ours. It's just I'm watching it. My sister and I have already planned out a week during Thanksgiving break, and I fucking hate the word Thanksgiving because it's like I don't know. It feels weird. I mean, well, because it fucking is weird. Like Thanksgiving, nothing to celebrate. Yes, you could celebrate like the family, being together, being thankful for what you have, yada, yada. But also like, why am I going to celebrate the brutalization and massacre of Indigenous people? Riddle me that. Why society we're capitalizing on the massacre and blood of the people who were here before us. But go watch the Buccaneers. That transition, the blood and the massacre. So go watch the Buccaneers. Go watch the Buccaneers on Apple TV. And do me a favor and go watch Neon. Alicia Pascual Peña, my other BFF, she did a show in Puerto Rico, and it's about reggaeton, and it's J Balvin is one of the producers on it, and it's on Netflix, and it's just, I mean, she fucking eats per usual. Like, so I'm not shocked, right? Because they always eat. If there's one thing Alicia is going to do and Josie's going to do is that they're going to eat and leave no crumbs left, right? Okay, good. Now we got that out of the way. Update on me. So my bae came and visited me from the UK last week, and it was incredible. You know, and I talked about long distance 2 weeks ago, and I mean, this just makes it all worth it. Having them here, being with her, and like really celebrating that fact of, you know, being in love and like spending time with each other. It was incredible. We did all the touristy things, right? Like I went to Times Square, I went to Stardust Diners, and they were singing Hamilton, and obviously I was like, okay, so I'm gonna have to perform with them. Obviously, the public wants me to perform. Walked around Central Park. Central Park is so beautiful. We went to the Museum of Sex, which was really, really interesting, and I had no preconceived notions prior to going in. But they just talk about the history of like different sex toys and the history of sex, of like like for example, hysteria, how like doctors made the vibrator because they think like orgasms and women pleasure was like a demon or like a literal illness inside of you. So like, we're gonna stimulate your clitoris real fast, and then the demon and the illness will leave you. When it's like, honey, we just want to come. Like literally, we just want to come. Like it's not that hard. But that was really lovely. We went to this cafe that I needed to go to the bathroom, and we went in, and she was talking to someone, and then I was taking a shit, quite frankly. And then this woman opens the door, and she worked there, and she fully sees my coochie meow meow as I'm shitting. And then she was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, for fuck's sake, can't a bitch shit in peace? Can't a bitch shit in peace? It's not hard. Please. And then 30 seconds later, finishing my shit, I'm now stood up, and I'm wiping my arsehole, and then a man walks in, he goes, oh fuck, and then he closes the door, and I was like, why can't a woman like me shit in peace? Like, and I like washed my hands, and I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I walked out, and everyone was staring at me, and I think they told the people in the kitchen, like everyone was making everything like, oh, we just saw her pussy, oh my god, we just saw it, what we just saw was a girl just shitting. like, I think that's a kink. But I'm not going to say they sexualized it, but they definitely were like, because that's embarrassing, you know? So anyways, that was that. But it was a lovely time being with my person. And yeah, we biked all over. It's great. It was a fun time. What else is new with me? I started a UCB sketch comedy course. I feel like so often, like after people, if you decide to graduate college, like that is it. That is it with education. You're good to go. But I feel like even just taking these small courses, like what I'm doing right now with sketch comedy, like is so important, not only for the development of your craft in your career, but also I think as a person. I had a meeting yesterday with an acting coach here, and it went nothing like how I thought it was going to go, and like in the best way. He asked me like, why are you doing this? And I think genuinely asking yourself why you're doing what you're doing is such an important question to ask, because you remind yourself of why you're doing it in the first place. And I think that's with all fields, not just acting or anything in the arts. But I think like if you're, in med school, if you're an accountant, if you're a chef, if you're a barista, no matter what you are, like ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is it to get to where I need to go in the next level? Is it genuinely just to get that check? Or like, do I genuinely love doing it? All are valid reasons, but I think that's important to ask yourself. And he brought up the point of being affected. And I was like, go on. And he said, for example, when you tell an actor in the middle of the scene, your mom just died. Or if you tell them, I don't know, something really traumatic happens, go. You're going to be like, I don't know how to get there, right? Obviously, with training and having the toolbox, you can get there. But I think the most important tool of getting there, of being able to be affected, and this is not just for actors. I'm gonna say that. This is not just for actors, right? It's allowing yourself to be affected of the surroundings, of your surroundings. And I think that goes with being more present and feeling more. Like, for example, I have tape and extensions on, and I'm just for fuller hair, and it's my first year with extensions, and I feel like, and I'm going to touch a little bit about the misconceptions of detoxing on this episode, and I'll touch on that after this intro. But I was walking to a beauty supply store just to get some like oils to take it off. And here's the fucking problem. I'm not going to go and pay $200 to get it removed when I can just do it myself, like in a safe way. That's why we have the internet. That's why we have, and I know hairstylists and people in the aesthetics world are going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? But listen, if it was like, I literally can't afford $200 just to take off tape and extensions. I can't justify that. I'm not gonna. Sorry. Even when I have so much money one day, I'm not gonna justify that when I could do it myself. Now, putting it in, I will happily pay. Happily. But to take it out when I kind of want to detox myself from all this shit in my hair, I'm gonna leave that to me and do it for $21.99 instead of $200 plus tip. Because also another thing, public service announcement, tip well. Everyone, tip. Cool. But I was walking, going back to the story. See, this is my ADD, and I know it. Before anyone fucking says, you don't have ADD, shut up. I do. I actually am diagnosed with attention deficit disorder and dyslexia. Yeah. But I was walking, and I just saw so many birds, and I know this is such a high thing, but like I just noticed so many birds, like beautiful birds on this lamppost, and I was like, that is so beautiful. And I just took an extra like 5 seconds genuinely just to look at them. And I smiled, and then I kept walking. And I think even just that 10 seconds of me doing that, I'm allowing myself to feel affected, to be affected by something other than myself. There's so many things that you could do to just genuinely be affected by your surroundings and by the things around you. And I think a big thing is like, whether that's journaling to reflect, looking at old photos of your family or friends, always being able to be in touch with, to be able to tap into that emotion. Because I think so often people don't want to, whether it's like just laziness or wanting to be in a rush or don't want to touch those emotions because those emotions hurt or bring up thoughts, feelings, memories that you don't want to feel, which is absolutely fair. I think a lot of times with, and with social media and like the fast paced life of blah, blah, blah. But like, it's true with that, people don't want to really look around them and be affected by things around them. And like, even this is so random, but like something is like taking a while, like someone's walking in front of you and it's taking a minute. I think it's okay to get frustrated and actually let out that sigh because it shows that you're being affected. Don't be a dick about it. But like, I think it's a human thing to feel those emotions, whatever it may be. I don't know if that made sense. I hope it really did. I think it has to do with also being human. And I know I'm talking a lot about this, and I'll get to the main topic of conversation for this episode in a second, but being human in letting things affect you. I think I would do myself in the world a disservice if I don't say that I'm a little frustrated. Not a little, I'm very frustrated with the lack of humanity and that lack of being affected by the things around you. I'm not going to beat around the bush, but what's happening in the Middle East right now. I think people, so whether they be actors, artists, just your random average people working, influencers, models, business people, whatever your profession is, or whatever you are, or you do. I think, and dare we say I had an episode about this where it's like, does posting actually help any cause? And what that's going to have to do with humanity and like being affected, I'll tie in a second. When you turn a blind eye with, for example, you see like the children in Gaza, you turn a blind eye and you're like, well, it doesn't affect me. And that can go with anything. That can go with also like what's happening in Sudan, what's happening in different parts of the United States, just the actual state of the world. When you turn a blind eye and you say, well, that doesn't affect me. This has nothing to do with me, so I'm going to continue living my life and acting like that doesn't exist, whether it be to protect your own peace or, well, I don't want to say the wrong thing, or, well, I don't want to speak on something that's none of my business, or I don't want to offend anyone, or I don't know what the right thing to say is. There's so many reasons, and I hear you, and I understand. Because speaking about anything that has to do with, that's nothing to do with you is, it's bold. But in my opinion, the wrong thing to do is to turn a blind eye and say, well, that doesn't affect me, so I shouldn't give a shit. And that comes to like even like voting for legislation of random shit of, like, for example, in 2016, when Donald Trump was running for president against Hillary, and people were like, well, I don't really care that much, so I'm just not going to vote. And then look what happened. I think it's really shitty if you think it doesn't affect you when everything, when it comes to the people and the world around you, affects you. If we're all energy and we're all, putting in the goodness and love in the world, you get more out of it. And if you put, I don't give a shit energy, or honestly, it would, whatever, I don't give a fuck energy, I think that's the energy you're going to get out. What I'm trying to say is, to all my friends, to all my family, to all my followers, to all my listeners, to everyone who's ever come across this, if you have a voice, which I hope you do, which I know you do, every single person has a voice that should be heard, to speak up, to give your thoughts out, to give your opinion, or to show solidarity, to choose love. And if you don't care, that's okay. Well, it's not okay, but just don't pick and choose your activism is all I'm asking. It's really shitty. It's a really shitty thing to do because words hold weight. Actions hold weight. I feel like I needed to say something again because it's, I'm seeing so much on social media and the news and misinformation and like harsh opinions and like people just stating something when they have no idea. And I'm not saying like just post or share or talk about things just for the sake of saying that I did that. Don't then. I'd rather you stay silent and not say anything than post and share and have conversation if you don't give a fuck or don't know anything. Genuinely. Okay. With all of that, today we're going to be talking about the idea of detoxing. And I'm not saying drink your green juice and like don't eat for 12 hours of the day and like go to like a sauna and like don't and like put blah 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 blah. Shut up. I'm seeing on TikTok because I looked up the phrase detoxing, okay? On TikTok, and it was just like, this is my 12-step journey to detoxing. This is what I do in the morning. Get ready with me as I blah 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 blah. Shut up. Not to be rude, but like everything that people put out in the world for like, this is what I do, might work for them, but I'm 99% sure it's not going to work for everyone. Sorry, it's not. Like, and I was like, I don't want to wake up in the morning and not eat for 12 hours. I don't want to wake up in the morning and the first thing I drink is some disgusting drink that has, okay, now am I going to drink Bloom because it tastes good? Yeah, but I'm not going to do that. I don't want to like not smoke weed. I don't want to not drink. I don't want to do all of these things X, Y, and Z because I want to just say I'm detoxing, right? And I was researching like different myths of detoxing and what that even means. And it just means taking out or eliminating toxins and waste from your body to rejuvenate you. But I have my own definition of detoxing. I have my own definition of, self-maintenance. And we're going to get into it. Now, all of the things that I'm about to list are things that don't serve me anymore. That used to, that I genuinely enjoyed so much that I really think like affected who I was or who I am today, that made me feel a certain way. And that's great. But for example, I'm taking out my hair extensions. I don't really want them anymore. I want my hair to grow naturally. I want my curly hair to come back after damaging it constantly with heat, relaxers, etc., etc. And I feel like that is one step to detoxing. I'm not doing my nail extensions anymore. Although I will say I'm probably going to do it again because I really like the feeling of it. I'm not fake tanning. I'm not going to fake tan anymore because I just want my skin to breathe. I have eczema. I am not doing lip filler for a little bit. Letting my lips breathe. I'm going to start reading before bed instead of watching TV. I'm not going to eat as much packaged foods from Trader Joe's, which are my favorite. I'm not going to have, I'm decreasing my salt intake. I want to start getting up earlier. There's so many things that I want to do. And I've looked up ways on Instagram, on TikTok, on the internet, just to help me navigate it best. And I haven't found anything. Every time I open the app to find like, how do I like replenish my body? Like, yes, obviously drinking water, 10,000 steps a day, blah, blah. But it's like, the majority of it are women who are influencers, who are being sponsored by different multivitamins, different supplements, different things in their life that I feel like, have you genuinely actually tried it out? Does it work for you? And I don't think it's not a one size fit all, because life and like being healthy and like living your best life is not a one size fit all. But there was one actually that really stood out to me, and I was really upset to watch it. And that was how to better your life and detox your life from all negative things. And it starts off with this girl. She's wearing a waist trainer, workout gear, and she is drinking a green juice before she's going to the gym for 2 hours. She's eating like egg whites and different things, like little. I was gonna say she was eating plants when I'm like veggies, please. She's living very Gwyneth Paltrow goop, Kim Kardashian style. And then she's like, I don't eat for the next 10 hours, blah, blah, blah. And then go to sleep by 9 p.m., journal a little bit, and then go to bed. And I'm like, I'm sorry. You're lying. I'm sorry, you're lying. Because that is not doable. And also, are you detoxing or are you trying to fit a certain image of what you think you should look like? I.e., the waist trainer, the working out 2 hours a day. It's the reason why I entirely wanted to do this episode about detoxing. It's not even about detoxing, but I feel like it's just steps to better my life without setting myself up for failure. Because I'm not going to wear a waist trainer because that's not healthy. It isn't healthy. Like, it's not good for your ribs. It's not good for your muscles. It's not good for your breathing. What it does is just makes you have that hourglass curve so you can get skinnier, which objectively isn't healthy. I don't need to go to the gym for 2 hours. I can't. I have shit to do during the day. I'm not going to eat egg whites for breakfast because that's not fucking yummy. I want to have a nice breakfast with yolk. I want chicken, apple, sausage. I want an English muffin, and I want my coffee. And I think that's part of detoxing. I think detoxing, for me, my definition of detoxing is taking steps in your life that serves your body, mind, and soul. So I made a list of things that me, Yasmin, is going to do to better my life, my version of detoxing. Number 1, this one's going to actually make me want to throw up. Throw up. Weed only 3 days out of the week. Whew. Do you understand how hard that is? Because I do it like I take a little something to take the edge off before bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I do. So I'm only going to do it 3 to 4 times a week because I can't keep waking up exhausted. And also, I get the munchies, so I'm just snacking on shit that I shouldn't be snacking on, like, right before bed. And that is detoxing. Number 2, I'm going to be reading more. I know I talk a big game about like, oh, I want to read. I want to like journal, blah, blah. Like, I don't read that much. I read on Instagram. I read on the news. Like, I listen to podcasts every day. I read on a screen when I would rather have a book. My partner gave me old, like very old, like from decades ago from Scotland, all of Shakespeare's works in like leather bounded paper, and I'm like, if I have that right there, why don't I just read it instead of watching Breaking Bad before bed? So actually reading more and sticking to my word. Number 3, I want to start meditating 5 minutes a day, and I don't want to listen to some like app that's going to help me, or maybe that will help, but like I don't want to just like, I think so often these like people, like these wellness bitches, and I call them wellness bitches, and I don't mean bitches derogatory, these wellness people on social media that are like, I'm just gonna record my meditation by the beach, I'm gonna record this so you guys can see it. I'm like, you're still, I think in the back of your head, you're still knowing that you're on camera. So are you really meditating fully, wholeheartedly? Yes, it helps to watch someone sometimes, but I'm like, is it performative? I don't know. Number 4 is sleeping at a reasonable hour. Because usually I smoke before I go to sleep, I'll eat a little bit, I'll hang out, like go on my laptop for a bit, watch TV. I'm like sleeping at like 1 a.m., 1:32 on like a Tuesday night. And I'm like, that just makes me feel shitty the next day because I'm someone who needs 8 hours of sleep. And if I know something about me and I still do it and know that it affects me in a negative way, why am I still doing it? Number 5 is eat better. I only want 1 cup of coffee a day. I want to, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, lower my sodium intake. I want to start cooking more. I want to bake. I want to make my food myself. My kitchen's really small, but I think I can do it. And 6, lastly, is less screen time. I don't want to be on social media a lot. I feel like I haven't been posting as much as I used to. And I think that's because like with the state of the world, I just don't feel like getting myself put together and being like, hi guys, everything's good. When like I still do post, my life still goes on, but I don't want to look at it's just constant comparison. I don't want to, I don't think it serves me. My screen time, at least 10 hours a day that I'm literally on Instagram, TikTok, my emails, text messaging. It's not healthy. So I think for my detoxing, it's really reducing that to maybe like 5 hours a day, 4 hours a day. Even that seems crazy. So that's what I'm going to be doing. But I think, and Emma Chamberlain had a podcast about the podcast episode, like only you know what's best for you. And I really think that everyone should take a look at themselves and really say and really think like what serves me and what doesn't. What do I need to start doing? And I'll let you guys know with how it goes. Like I don't want to smoke every night. I don't want to, I don't want to be on my phone constantly. I want to eat healthier. I want to meditate 5 minutes a day. I want to do X. I want to read more. I want to do so many things, but I think it's actually holding yourself accountable for doing that. Like, remember when I moved to New York, I made a terms and conditions list, and I'm actually sticking to it. For the most part, I really am sticking to it. I think as the holidays come, it gets hard, but that's just that. And I'm excited. I'm going to be releasing an episode a little bit earlier next week on being the antagonist of the family and I know, once again, on Dare Say, we had an episode about, how not to start World War III at the dinner table. But I'm really intrigued about this holiday season on not doing it, because everyone knows, like, in my that transition from going to detoxing to being the anti-hero of the family, that's just this podcast. It's cuckoo crazy for Cocoa Puffs. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm really excited to have this challenge for myself because I've been feeling really icky. Like, although like I sleep well, I drink a lot of water. I do 10,000 steps a day. I work out. I'm very hygienic. My mental health is not bad. Like, I still feel like there's so much better I can do. So let's do it. I made these lists for myself. I'm going to actually stick to it. I'll let you know how it goes. Am I going to smoke tonight before bed? Probably. Am I a hypocrite? Absolutely. But nevertheless, she persisted, and that's on feminism. So that's it for today's episode. It's a bit short one, but take everything with a grain of salt, but not too much salt, because I'm trying to reduce my sodium fucking intake because I don't want high cholesterol. Are those together? Sodium and cholesterol. Anyways, didn't do well in biology. Anyways, I will see you guys next week. I have some fun guests lined up for the next couple of episodes, and I'm really excited for them. We're 3 months into this podcast. Let's keep on going, baby. I love you, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Make sure to like, subscribe, download all future Main Character with Yasmin episodes, and major thank you to our incredible editor and producer, Max Shepardson. I'll see you next week. Bye.